All right, everyone. This is 10.1, day 2. So we're going to talk about summation notation. We got a little short one today. We already talked about sequences. So we're going to take a look down here in summation notation. This is a sigma. This is a Greek letter. This is a summation is basically you're taking the sum, so you're adding all the terms in a sequence. So the first term plus the second term plus the third term all the way to the whatever term. You're adding them up, and that's the sum. So what we're going to do is we're going to write some summations, and then we're going to evaluate some. So again, this Greek letter is called a sigma. So this n right here at the top doesn't have to be n. It could be k or whatever letter they use. This is your upper limit. This basically tells you how many terms you're going to do. This is your lower limit right here. Lower limit basically tells you what number you're going to start at. And the I right here is called the index. So that's basically like telling you the index of summation. It's usually I, J, or K. So we're going to write some, but again, we got the upper limit is up here on top. The thing that looks like an E is a sigma. The index is the letter here that's used. So if you see A sub I, that's the index, like the variable here. The lower limit is 1. And again, we're taking the sum, so we're adding all the terms in the sequence. So we're going to try one right now. So this is the sum from 1 to 5 of I cubed. So the first thing we're going to do, the first term, we're going to start at 1. We're going to say it's 1 cubed. Now you're going to add 2 cubed. Then you're going to add 3 cubed. Then you're going to add 4 cubed. Then you're going to add 5 cubed. And we're going to stop at 5 because that is the upper limit. So again, we started at 1 because that was our lower limit. We cube it because that's what it says right here. That's what the summation is telling us to do. And we go to 5. So 1 cubed is 1. 2 cubed is 8. 3 cubed is 27. 4 cubed is 64. 5 cubed is 125. And you're going to grab your handy dandy calculator here. And you're just going to add them up. 1 plus 8 plus 27 plus 64 plus 125. And that equals 225. And that is the sum of numbers I cubed from 1 to 5. So again, upper limit up top, lower limit down here. It tells you what you start at. So I was 1, so I started at 1 here. And I went all the way to 5 because 5 is the upper limit. All right, next one we got here, evaluate each sum. So this one's a little more complex. So you see they're not using I anymore. They're using K. Nothing changes. I'm not going to start this at 1. Why not? Oh, look, because the lower limit's 4. So I'm going to start at 4. And I'm going to go all the way to 7. So here I go. -2 to the 4th minus 5. And for each one, just pop it right in. -2 to the 4th minus 5, 11. If you're going to use your calculator, make sure you put it in parentheses. In parentheses. Here, just look at the difference. -2 to the 4th in parentheses. That is correct. Not correct. Need parentheses. So I'm going to keep going. -2 to the 5th minus 5. -2 to the 6th minus 5. -2 to the 7 minus 5. Do I stop at 7? Yes, I do. Why? Because that's my upper limit. So I'm just going to pop each one in the calculator here. -2 to the 5th minus 5. -37. -2 to the 6th minus 5. 59. -2 to the 7th minus 5. -133. Now I'm going to add up 11 plus -37 plus 59 plus -133. So I'm going to add all those up right in the calculator. 11 plus -37 plus 59 plus -133. And your answer, -100. So I suggest that you pause the video and try this next one by yourself. I'm gonna do it anyway, but just pause and try it. All right, next one here. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but it's gonna take too much time in the video. But we're just gonna start. So we're going from 0 to 3 here. So we're starting at 0. So I'm gonna just do it. -1 to the 0 plus 1 over 0 plus 1. And there's that exclamation point, which means factorial, which is -1 to the first over 1 factorial, which is -1 over 1, which is -1. So that's the first term. So you're going to do this now. You're going to go from I is going to be 2 now. 1 now. I'm sorry, 1. 1 plus 1, because we started at 0, all the way to 1 plus 1 factorial. So that's going to be -1 to the second over 2 factorial. -1 squared, guys. Don't just use your calculator because you're going to get -1. -1 squared is 1 over 2, so that one is 1/2. So those are the first two. So I'm going to pause it because I don't want, I'm going to waste time making you guys watch me write it. But that's how you do it. You put the number in here, you put it in here, you evaluate. So I'm going to pause it and fill it out. All right, so there it is. I highlighted the changes in blue, so you can see that I went from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3. And I got these 4 things. I got -1, 1/2, -1/6, and 1/24. Be careful when you're squaring negatives and cubing them. Right? I should have parentheses around here, but I knew -1 to the 4th was 1, so you got to be careful. Now you're going to add them all up. -1 plus 1/2 plus -1/6 plus 1 over 24 is, if you put it all in the calculator, -5 over 8. And that is your final answer. So again, the blue is just me showing you it's these eyes here, the changes. All right, the last two we're going to do is now going the opposite way. You have the sequence, now we're going to write it in summation notation. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to write a little sigma. So this 1 here is our first term, and this 7 is the last. So the upper limit should really be 7, because the last one we do, and the lower limit should be 1. You could use whatever letter you like. I'm just going to say I equals 1. Now in here, what's happening to I? We have I to the 4th, I to the 2nd, I to the 3rd. So right here, I'm sorry, I messed it up. I to the 1 to the 4th, 2 to the 4th, 3 to the 4th. The next would be 4 to the 4th, all the way to 7 to the 4th. So this would just be I to the 4th. And that's it. That's all you got to do. You just got to look and see what's happening. Down here, we're going to write our sigma. Now, this one's a little trickier. We'll start with the lower limit. It's starting at 1. So we're going to have I equals 1. Now, it doesn't really show you what it's going up to. So because there's a variable here, it's going up to n. And then in here would just be 1 over 3 to the I, because that's what's changing, minus 1. And that's it. So this is an infinite sequence because there's no upper limit really. It's going on forever. This is finite. Infinite, finite. So that's all you got to do. And those are your notes. So now you guys are going to do the MyLab.